Hi, everybody. Who's here? Sipke is here. We can see him. The workshop boss is here. The Greek mafia is here. The French mafia is also here. The French one is just me and Antoine. The Canadian mafia is here, but he's alone. The other Canadian is not here. So that's good. Then, yeah. So we'll do a status. Demos. We have Sipke who will show us a new theme that he made. We might be able to get a demo about custom settings. Depends on how long we talk about everything else. We might have other demos. Does anyone have some? Nobody.
I can probably do custom settings this week if we get some time.
We'll see. Topics. We'll talk about the workshops, how it's going on, because there has been at least one. When is the next one, actually? When is the next? Is it tomorrow? No.
On Saturday.
On Saturday. So
Workshop.
if I go site, because that's where you go, and you see that the first one was on Saturday, last Saturday. The next one is, it should write maybe the next Saturday, +7. And it will be with Antoine about that, theming in OrchardCore. And the title is after the thing, so that's confusing me at least. I will hope to see the title here, alongside the workshop number maybe.
No, there are not enough space.
I'm sure we can find a solution, but whatever, people are just have to click there and and you can click on the link and there you see that on the title. Beautiful. Okay, next Saturday. We'll talk about it after. We'll talk about RC2 and a vulnerability that has been found in Orchard that we have been working on for the past weeks publicly, and it's not really that. We'll talk about it. So status. There is a new fork update. Okay, so it decided not to stay open. Orchard 1. Lots of commits from Matteo and James on performance for Orchard 1, localization provider refactor for performance, caching stuff. It's all about caching, you will see. Save membership binary records in memory to cache them also, because too many requests. Some of them are on dev branch, some of them are on 110x based on the breaking level of the change. Cache list of configured layers, same thing, caching and using signals to invalidate layers when they are changed. This way you prevent some queries. Indices for common queries on the common part, mostly based on every query that they found will be slowed down by the lack of indices on these tables and fields. So it's very specific to every workload, but these just relate to the default one from default CMS queries that you can find in the default modules. See, in this case, maybe a query based on the email and the normalized username. So that necessitates a custom index, apparently. Optimizations also in taxonomy. And fix a caching issue. We talk about it on Thursday. Yeah, so there was a change in the shell descriptor record recently, and now they They fixed they fixed something they found due to this change with better locking, but still cached, so less queries in the admin for this one. So lots of perf improvements on Orchard 1 due to analyzing the queries on specific load tests. So they do load tests on the admin on the front end with different users at the same time, editing content or rendering content, and then they found some bottlenecks in database or in the code or some logs they want to fix. So that's what they do. Perf improvements on Orchard 1. OrchardCore updated for the 5th. So here I will just check out this one for next week. And there, last week we stopped there. Then an issue with table formatting in OrchardCore.Menu. I assume this week I will have some surprises. We'll see. Issue with table formatting in OrchardCore.Menu. Okay. Then update workflows, dependencies, JS-Plumb, jQuery, and the log files, resolve potential media conflicts, media key conflicts.
Because John 3 pointed out when he was working on some of the distributed stuff that there's an opportunity for conflicts between tenants there.
Okay.
When it's static, which makes sense.
Yes. So what's the string here? Just want to understand. It's really not a big issue to do that, but so it's either you include the tenant in the string because they have to be separate, or you make it a different instance, which is fine because each middleware here will be different for each tenant, unless these things, lazy tasks, should be shared across tenants. But I don't think it's the case because here it's about generating the local cache for the file, right? Or is it about that? I think that's it.
Yeah,
so
it's about fetching the local file. So
it makes sense to have it independently. Actually, it's even better, I would say, to have a concurrent dictionary per tenant than just sharing the same one for everything in this case and adding the tenant in the string. And you did the same thing for other stuff. Okay, makes sense. Well, you didn't do the same thing here. You just did a different.
No, we talked about it, but decided to do it differently because of the way the file system works, and just another couple of little fixes there.
Okay, good. Schedule publish functionality has been merged, so now you can do some publish later tasks from the UI. Eventually will be refactored into a more generic scheduled task, not just thing. So fixes, bulk actions. We will trust Chantier on this one. We trust him on many things, this one also. Antoine, add docs folder and project to solution. So now apparently I have, okay, there is a project. Okay, there is a project. And the project is inside the docs folder, and the docs and the project has been added to the solution. Okay, this way, whenever we add a file under this folder, it will appear in the project, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So the .NET team, the ASP.NET team is, I assume the .NET team also is looking at SLNF files. Maybe something we should look at. I'm not sure it's the best solution, but it's a way to have like virtual solutions for different projects. I don't know what it is. Actually, now.
No.
What What do you say? Maybe. I'll check that. But there is SLNF files. I have to check it. But that's good. Okay, so we can see the documentation from Visual Studio also. That's good. And I assume it doesn't impact perf because there is no building at all. Visual Studio should just ignore that. I hope so. Fixing inconsistent links. Half of them were referring to a README file, half not. Okay, so now they are consistent. Okay, yeah, like I see implicit links to README, but maybe it don't work in all the contexts. Like it will work in GitHub, but if you try to open it locally, it will say, I don't know what you mean. Maybe
no, it works everywhere. In Visual Studio, in GitHub, and on Read the Docs.
Okay. Move README to docs root. Workflow link, but workshop here. Typo in the commit.
Yes.
Yeah, happens all the time. Update doc screenshots. That's good to be able to update the screenshot. Ideally, in a perfect world, we will generate them at build time and find an issue if we find a change from the last one. Like, hey, did you know that there was a change there? But okay, what is, yeah. So
screen.
Let me see if I go, can I double click that? Can I click on this link? No. Can I just go, can I open that in GitHub? Oh, should I have to go to, so setup screen, setup JPEG. This one. It's cropped. We'll see in the docs site then. Thank you for keeping it in English. And setup screen. But this one without the Chrome around. Okay. I just want to see how it looks like. How to guides. Create a decoupled CMS site. Good. The only difference is that I think it was smaller before. This is the original size. So maybe it's the ratio that was going deeper just for visibility. On my screen, it's hard to see. It's good, okay? But just nitpicking here, it looks like it was smaller. So maybe it was easier to read before. I tried to use my own local native resolution, and I assume I have a smaller screen than you. Almost sure I have a smaller screen than you because I'm on my laptop, which is a 14-inch. So if you have a smaller screen than me, you have an issue. Or you have a small laptop. But that's okay. Thank you for updating. It's an issue when you do doc to maintain that, because the day we change the menu or the UI or the links there,
and it should be changed. The menu structure changed.
But so, well, we can, yeah, we don't do that all the time. It's just if it's really a breaking change in the doc, but in this case, so yeah. Ideally, we should automate that and code, but we can't do that. It's too much work. So yeah, that's the issue with screenshots. So it's work to be able to keep them updated. Thank you. Revisit workflow queries. I hate those titles. Well, when you write the commit, it's obvious what you did, but when you review them, you're like, okay, what changed? Why? Commit. There should be a link to the GitHub issue. It's kind of sad. No more await, at least in this case, I see. I think, did I merge that? Or maybe? Maybe, I don't remember, but I saw that. So this is just async refactoring. That, so everything is here. Yeah, there was an issue related to that, but okay. I don't know what the issue is. Switch buttons, events, and tasks in the workflow edit. So the order, so first now it's events and then task. Okay. And there it looks like you made some A/B testing on that.
It's more logical.
Yeah. Well, some things is like when you use them or you show them, you're like, oh, that's weird. When you click on that, so that's gut feeling more than A/B testing or user studies, whatever. Okay, that's an example. Update manifest descriptions. Okay. Configure dev package source. Okay.
To have it only on one page, so you can refer to the link
all the time instead of having the little notes everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. If you want to use a dev, okay, as in dev branch, okay. Is that something we used before? The wording?
The dev package source, I guess, or the myget package source.
Just want to compare with what I used here. It's still there. Is it still there?
Maybe not in decoupled.
If you're not using the latest myget packages, that's what I use here. Yeah, I don't talk about dev packages. I talk about myget feed or myget packages. That's why I was confused when I saw that, because it sounds weird to talk about, you know, the dev feed, because you name it when you maybe that's weird. That's a weird way to call that, the dev feed, because it's just a branch name. So maybe use myget feed or OrchardCore myget feed, but the dev feed, it's weird. You can explain somewhere that it contains the packages generated from the dev branch, but
there's a typo there as well.
That's more myget.
Myget.
Midget. I'm playing. That's okay. You see that he wrote the lowercase g and then he's like, no, let's do like NuGet, uppercase
Yes,
G. But
Zoltan told me it's myget with a G capital case.
Yeah. Zoltan is picky. Okay. Yeah, just wording. We can fix that later. But yeah. So fix link to dev package source. Okay. Upgrade dependencies, Azure.Storage.Blobs Azure.Storage.Blobs. So Dean, you confirm it's the new SDK, right? This one.
Yeah, so they've moved away from the other one, or they're not.
Yeah,
They're
okay.
not releasing it, and that's the REST client SDK instead. So it is reasonably different. But,
I discovered that because I used the Service Bus SDK, which was so new that I could not find it. And it's actually one of the devs of the SDK who gave me the link and the version for that. And then I realized that they are shipping the SDKs one by one. So some of them are already shipped and GA, and some of them are just preview. And that's why I assume this one was one of the first ones to be released. And the one I was using was pretty new, actually. That's why I was confused. Okay.
yeah, that would make sense. It's quite hard to even find documentation on them at the moment. So that's coming slowly.
At the same time, it's hard to find documentation. But when I was actually, without knowing, I was using the old Service Bus SDK, but there was an even older one. That's why I thought it was a new one, because it was not that old. And the documentation was poor, but also the code comments inside the API. There were like 10 methods, but when you were looking at the IntelliSense, it was not explaining whatever the method was doing. And I had no idea how to use that. And I was surprised that the new SDK will not have any code comments. And that's when I asked the devs, and they told me, no, you're not using the new one. Use this one. And this was much better, definitely. And also the versions, they don't match between each SDK. Like I saw the 12 point something on the one you are using, but the Service Bus was like 7 point something. It's historical reasons. They used to be from all different teams, and now they are from a more common team.
Yeah, and the old Azure one was at 11, so I guess they had to go above it, even though it's a completely different namespace. But
this one, upgrade Bootstrap, select to 1.13.17. Super important version. Minor release. Is that a button? Is that it? Which one is that? I don't remember. Bootstrap select.
A drop down for the filters in most lists.
Or something you made. The filters refactoring. So what is that? Is there an example?
Examples, link.
Where?
On the top.
Top. Oh, there. I didn't see that. It was so blurred into my, okay.
Yes, it includes a filter text box, for example. You can type live search, you see, on the left.
Wow, on the left. That's what you use?
Yes.
Okay. I have to do like GitHub, I see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my study is better than catch up. Okay, just for my own knowledge. Add docs readme to SLN. Jean-Philippe is back. Canadian Mafia. It's not here, right? No. Owns Canada. So add formatting option to JSON filter. Formatting. Okay, that's the way to do that. Added support for section syntax in views, and I realized that this was merged when I saw a new PR to do the same thing in the Razor page with stuff that I didn't like, and I was like, if I see that to synchronize and I don't like it here, I hope it's, well, I assume it's done the same way in the other one that probably has been merged. Let me check, but I don't see that here.
Scroll up in the Razor page file.
Is that the one you think I won't like?
Yeah.
Ah, so you saw my comment and you know.
Yeah, we were supposed to review this on Thursday. Ran out of time.
Yes, and I think I already commented that. So nope, don't want that. I will wear my I am the mean guy hat and say, I don't want that, because people will use that because they think, oh, that looks good. I want to use define section, and it will do a get await or get result, which will break your async pipeline, and then you will get thread pool, exhaustion, and everything that can go bad, because it's not like it's something we do at startup once. It's done on every request then, even concurrent request. So, and this thing can be, I'm sure, can do some database queries and long stuff. So return async. Yeah, I want to look. No, that's, yeah, I know it's been a long time as a PR, but there are some PR that have been there for 3 years. They are waiting for feedback. They will get feedback. But here, I don't think that's a good solution.
Yeah, I mean, my feeling is that it's not a feature that we need. It was a nice to have. So if we have to compromise to have it, that doesn't seem like a good idea.
Section. So I suggest to revert that and reopen the PR and not merge the other one that syncs up some things between Razor page and that. Niraj, if you listen to us, you should join the triage meetings, and people who join the triage meetings, they get more time to talk about their PRs and to unblock them. That's what usually Matteo and Hermes do. When they really want to be unblocked on a PR, they join, and we prioritize people's issues who are at the meeting, or we just take them in order or based on urgency of the issue or the feature. This is nice to have, so that's why it always has been postponed. Fix liquid filter doc. That's hard to see with this. It's not about the PR, but the change detection messed up everything. I have no idea. We can just trust that it's better. Content property. That's weird. To show an example how to render the content property. We always do that, but yeah, and that will be a JSON payload, and that's why we have the console log filter. And in this case, maybe use a row, I don't know. Otherwise it will break everything if it contains some HTML. Oh no, it won't, because it will be encoded, so that's good. So don't use row here, as I said, that will be bad. Going on, PublishLater review. So after the PR was merged, I was looking at some code and I realized there were some things I wanted to say, so I made a PR to make it better. It was just to tell than some things that you might have missed, like the fact that when we render a shape, we try to use the get editor shape or get display shape type so that we can generate the one for the editor setting that has been set in the settings. I'm sure we have some drivers that don't do that still, and that's why I didn't see that. And then also not to reference modules. So in this case, to get access to the permission from the content modules, you can access command permissions. That's also not obvious. I also had to look at I knew we had done something like this, but I had to look at the source code to see what to do. Some database optimizations here due to indexes that we already have, fixing the references. Database optimizations. And a link that should be not tenant aware. And here I will ask for the people on the call to confirm that it should not be // to a static asset, but a slash. Just, I'm almost sure of that. I was part of the design team for that, but I haven't done that for a long time. So it looks good. Okay, so that's an update on the PublishLater. Remove permission check on custom. Just to comment on that, it's related to this issue, but PRs are also very useful for learning stuff. It's a way to comment on a PR will let us teach everyone and also be taught about stuff we might not know. And sometimes it's just a comment about a typo or use that method instead because you don't know about that. It's not about making sure everything is perfect, but also teaching everyone about stuff that they might not know or about how to improve their knowledge about specific techniques, features, strategies we are using, patterns. That's also why PRs are good for the poster, not just to verify that it's good, but you can learn stuff from that. So this one, remove permissions check, because it will break everything and because we have no permission at all anywhere. And as long as the execute recipe itself is managed by better permission, and it is, then it has been removed. I thought about it when I saw that this morning. Did I merge it?
You did it. Yes.
Okay. Yes, and
yeah, because I left it for you to sanity check because I wasn't 100% sure that this was that was the way we're supposed to do it, but none of the other recipe or none of the other steps have any permissions checks. We rely on that overriding permission.
Yeah, I don't know if I wrote this code, custom maybe, or if I told the one who wrote this code to write the permission. That would be interesting to see the history of this thing. Maybe I wrote that because I think I wrote custom settings.
There is a reasonably complex permission structure with it for when you're actually editing them.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So it's used still in the editor, which is fine. Okay, that's not for the step. Yes. Okay. So yeah. At the same time, no, I didn't write that. Sipke wrote that. Sipke, could it be you that wrote that? Are you familiar with the custom settings and that? I'm not judging. I'm just seeing that select statement, and I never write code like this, so I'm sure it's not me.
Oh, I will let you know.
At the same,
at the same time, judgment, I will tell you if I did it or not.
At the same time, I know you love to write things like this.
Yeah, but you know who else loves to do this?
Who?
Daniel Stolt.
But he didn't write that.
That's true.
You have done some contributions to OrchardCore 2 years ago, in the beginning also at some point. You stopped for some time, but I think it was around the time you were still active with that, and maybe that's why I'm saying it's probably you. I like to see the blame chart on that, just to see who wrote that.
Could have
because
been, but I know I didn't do it because I don't like doing two array on the same line. I would have probably created a temporary variable.
that's so funny that we can realize who wrote or didn't write this code because of the styling. Zoltan would be here and he would say, if we had good tooling, there will be no styling, or it will be the same style everywhere.
Yeah,
so
yeah, exactly.
figure out.
Yeah, that's what you want.
Step. This one. Maybe the history will be masked by Imanchu, maybe. That's weird. So okay. So I didn't write the custom setting step. So someone added the custom setting step. Interesting. That's Himanshu probably. Where is the? Oh, it has been changed. No, where is the?
I see a little avatar with your name.
Oh, that's Himanshu. Yeah, that's Himanshu here. Oh, that's me.
Yeah, that's you.
No, there is a security fix for custom settings.
Yeah.
Oh, I wrote that, dude. No.
Yeah, you committed, but he authored it.
Okay, I added the parentheses. And I fixed. Okay, no, that's Himanshu. So that's his style. So now we know that next time we see some link queries like this, it can be Sike or Himanshu. Okay. Yeah, this one, version content. So you can have an event for the versioning of your content item. I think it was missing. Might get typo. You see live updates from Antoine, as we mentioned issues here. And he's added support for section syntax use or revert. Okay. Can you reopen the issue also? And we might also want to prioritize that at the next triage meetings. Okay, so that is done. Topics. Anyone wants to add something? Feel free. It's an open meeting. That's why we do Teams meetings, so anyone can talk, not just me. Or Sipke, because Sipke likes to talk also. We know that. Topics. Demos. Okay, let's do the demos. Sipke.
All right, I'll share my screen. Let me know when you see my screen.
Wow.
All right. So this is I've been without my own website for a while now, and I once in a while I like to write a blog post, but I wanted to do it on my own website. So I was looking for a theme, but I really like the Medium theme, so that's where PublishLater. I created a few blogs lately, so I was looking for a theme that looked a little bit like that, and then I found this one. It's free, it's open source, anyone can use it. So what I did, I created a Orchard theme, so I could use it for my own website, but I created it generically so that others can use it as well if they like. So I also created a recipe to get started quickly. So so what we're looking at right now, that's the just the HTML template that's available for everyone. And I created a repo containing my website that hosts this theme. So it's not its own repository yet. I'm still working on that, but it has a couple of interesting features. Basic features, but it was interesting to implement it with Orchard and with using the liquid templates and extending things like users. So I want to show a couple of those things. So first, what I will do is show you the recipe. It's called Medium. Maybe I should rename it Medium-ish because it's not exactly Medium. But let's say you want to create your own blog using this recipe. and wait for this to complete. And there you go. Now you have a blogging application based on the Medium theme. It's very simple still. It consists, of course, of blog posts. No comments yet. That's on the roadmap, but it has, of course, blog posts. It's associated with owners. I extended the user with a couple of settings that I will show in a second, and it has tags, and all of these things work. So these are tagged with Orchard. Search has been implemented using Lucene. So there's a lot of those little things that I wasn't too familiar with, but I have to say it was really, really cool what I found with what you can do with Orchard and with the liquid filters and that sort of thing.
And you didn't ask questions on Gitter or Pingdus or Plasma or whoever owns these features?
I didn't have to, but I did look a lot at the OrchardCore source code to figure out how certain things worked, especially when it came to extending liquid with my custom filters. For example, this 1 minute read here, I had to implement my own filter for that. So, and initially I started doing this as part of the Medium theme here, but I noticed certain things wouldn't work, and I think something with shapes didn't immediately work. That might be a bug, but it did work. When using a custom module, I don't recall the details, but when I do, I will create an issue for that, because maybe it's a bug or maybe it's by design. I'm not sure. But yeah, for example, I have here a couple of filters.
We don't see anything. You have to zoom.
Oh, I can't zoom this thing here. Oh,
what is that? Is that code or is Sublime?
This one? Wait,
no control.
Let me fix this. No, there's no control zoom. This is Writer. It's not. I don't know if it works in.
You don't have zoom. VS Code has zoom. You should use VS Code.
For this it does.
For anything, yeah. Okay, good. Thank you.
Oh, I thought you were referring to this.
Well, at least the thing if you are showing some code.
Yeah. For example, the read time filter. That's a liquid filter, and well, of course, it just uses a very simple service to do this sort of thing. But it's a very powerful thing to be able to extend these templates with your logic, and you can use shapes, and then you can inject services into those shapes that then get rendered, or use filters directly if you just want to transform some value and then transform it. That's pretty awesome. So let's have a look at the detail view for a blog post. So here you see, well, this sort of things. This is of course
we don't see.
Oh, sorry. So these fields are built in, obviously. Maybe I should look at the summary, blog post summary. And then this is a card block shape, just to reuse a couple of those things.
And you made these templates as static files, not as part of the recipe that you can edit in the admin templates.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, you can overwrite these using the templates module or the templates feature. But I do have some snippets.
Okay, makes sense.
Just for the home. So this is this is content driven, or I don't know, content management, whatever you want to call it. So that means you can go to the admin. And then go to content items.
Nope. Is it?
You see it?
Yeah. I'm wondering what will show us.
Oh, so this is a liquid page, and so this is the home page. So it uses liquid. So you can change all of this. But if you want to change the blog post detail shape, you can. But yeah, you would have to use the templating feature. I don't enable it.
Am I the only one to think it's weird to make it in a content item instead of a template?
Yeah, so I saw that you or somebody did this for, I think, the agency team.
Agency, that's how we did for the agency, yeah. We did a template for the type that is used on the homepage, but the homepage itself, that we call the landing page or landing content, only had content, no design at all.
Yeah, and that makes sense. And probably I should do this, should do that for this as well, because of course the homepage should just be items. And if you look at this homepage here, I would want to turn these into either little shapes or snippets or even widgets, so you can use the flow part to for a more user-friendly experience. But you know, you have to take it easy on me. This is really my first,
I'm just wondering if there was a reason or if I was the only one to think this way. Another way, so when we made the agency and the home template like this, like the agency, another way to do that, so we decided to model the homepage as a single content type that would have bags for team, services, all the categories or all the things that appear in the homepage. Like you have multiple sections with different types of content. Okay. Another way to do that you could follow to differentiate yourself from the agency model would be to have not everything in the same content item, but in distinct lists or content items, and then have a homepage do queries to aggregate those other content items and run them on the front page, instead of having everything the same content item like we do for the agency, which might be a simpler homepage than your homepage. I don't know.
Yeah, because then you just enumerate those content items and it doesn't care about the content types that's delegated to the individual shape templates or that correspond to the content types. I've seen that in the agency theme. And this is a little bit similar, except maybe that it's well, this sort of thing like containers that doesn't belong really to your content item. But in principle, it's similar in that it iterates over.
Yes. So you made
content items.
So what's the type of this content item?
This is all. So this content item that we're looking at is a liquid page.
Liquid page. I was about to say that. Maybe, yeah. Okay. So that's almost like I was suggesting. So you don't do a template; it's a liquid page. That makes sense. And you have different content items, different content types, and different lists also for all your things. And then I totally agree with how you did that. Okay.
Yeah. Of course, in this example, I only have blog and blog posts, and that's what we're seeing here. It's just using a query liquid filter, or this filter here to query a featured blog posts query that I defined here. And this is a really nice feature. These queries, that's so easy to create a bunch of them. So what I did, so we have a query for featured blog posts.
Wait. Have you seen that you can do that also in Lucene? And then Jasmine can say you're welcome also.
Yeah, you can run it, you mean, and then you can, well, you can.
Oh, this is liquid. Here. Okay, so I didn't say anything. I kind of, but not.
There's one thing that I would like to show as well. It's the user blog post. So if you go to the front end and you click on the author.
Oh, because it's a taxonomy, or what? How do you model that?
So what I did here is create a query called user blog posts, and it looks like this.
What about what you're about to show is what I tell everyone who want to assign authors to content items like articles or blog posts, and at first try to map a user with that, a user account. And I think it's wrong. I think you should have a different content item or a taxonomy to represent that. And so you can add custom metadata. Now I want to see what you did, but I think you didn't do the way I suggest.
So that's the beauty of OrchardCore, I must say. You have these options, and I chose to associate this metadata to my own user account. So what I did is I extended the user with an author model, and then I can enter all sorts of metadata that I think I need for my role as an author, as a blog author, or as a blogger, and then I can say what I am, and I can tell something interesting about myself, and some social. And of course, I what you're saying, it could be a separate content item, and then I can associate it using taxonomies. I could associate those authors with posts, and that would work as well.
So you
it's
wrote
a choice
code.
I made. What's that?
You wrote some code.
Yeah, exactly. It's
You had
part
to
of
write.
the.
You had to write a driver.
Exactly. That's it.
So that
I have an
opens,
author display driver.
opens two discussions here. First is that if you had created a content type called author, it would have been everything dynamic, okay? And then you could have said the owner of this author is the actual user account, maybe if you want to assign it to a user account, but I'm not even sure you actually require a user account. Why you would prefer to have a content item to represent an author is that, well, it depends how you model that in your blog post, but usually then in this way, when you have a blog post, you can have a field based on taxonomies or another content item picker that filters on author, and then anyone can create a blog post and tell the author is Sipke, because that's what happens sometimes in companies. You like, or someone will write a blog post for someone else, but you know, like I'm the content manager, but this is whoever Sipke wrote the blog post and sent it to me as Word, and I want to show that with his own picture and everything, and I don't want to access his account.
Yeah, and that makes sense, and then you don't have to create a user account for that person.
But in this case, maybe what we might need is a user picker. So we could still assign an author content item with a default user account, but we don't have a user picker. And I think we missed that. And there might be an issue already for that. And the second issue that you are showing here is that if you want to add profile information to a user account, it's hard. You have to write some code. What we need is the same way we did for custom settings. We should have user settings or user profile stereotype. So these stereotypes, like custom settings, will be added in tabs or as sections for each user to be able to write custom code with custom content without custom code.
Yeah.
So that's your next idea.
Beautiful.
Okay, if you have nothing to do next week, instead of writing a new theme, you can do that. User settings.
Yeah, I just might, because I don't like that this is hard-coded. This is very opinionated and just here for my use case. But
if you look at custom settings, you will see how easy it is to do. And if you need help, Dean will help you.
Well, speaking of which, the custom settings, I use that as well, because another property of the website is this little logo, and you can change that using settings. Oh, I forgot to make it part of my recipe, so I don't know if I even have the content type here. It's not showing up. I forgot to include it as part of the recipe, but I actually use that functionality, custom settings, and it's really nice. You just define a custom type here, give it the custom settings stereotype, and then it shows up. And it's beautiful. So that's a nice way to make your theme configurable. So if you have that sort of properties like little logos and maybe something you want to change in the footer, if it's not a template that you can override. But yeah, thanks for the ideas of the author. That makes a lot of sense. For now, it's associated with the with my user, and of course, every content item has an owner. So I'm using that to load the user, and for that I have another little filter called user filter, which takes as an input a username, and then it loads that by the name and returns the user as an object. So I can then cast it to the author model, and then access properties on that author, like name and other things.
I feel like someone created a PR last week with that. Antoine will tell me.
So another thing that we need is, I think, is the maybe I have it here. No. I think we need a blank filter in any case, so we can see if text is null or white space. So we can, otherwise it becomes.
There is one. It's called it's in liquid. It's not a filter. It's called is empty.
Oh,
or okay. It exists in liquid natively.
And it uses something similar to null or white space, not just no. Okay.
I see what you mean, but there is also trim, so you can do trim, and I'm sure there is in liquid already that.
Okay. I couldn't find it, but I'll have another look then. Oh yeah, though there's this something to do with route. I'm trying to route liquid handler. Yeah, so we need this as well. Because what I'm using here, that's what I wanted to show as well, is the query here for user blog post. As you can see, I'm dynamically setting up this query based on the username route. So I created custom code here it's an author controller, so that I can get the user by a username and return author view model, which I use for the author page. And
dude, Dean will tell you. Dean, do you want to tell him? No, Dean doesn't.
It's all good. You tell him. I was hoping you might do my custom settings demo for me, but he's skipped over it.
Also that, and so what we designed a few weeks ago, you were not there. Well, it was during a triage, but then we talked during a meeting. We want to create, and that you can do CPQ next week also. You have so many things to do next week based on our feedback. Thank you very much. We wanted to do a custom content type that you could define custom routes in the auto route. It's like a meta auto route. So the idea is that you will create a content type, and you will say the dynamic route is /users /curly brace username, okay, or /blog post /users /curly brace username. And then by doing that, we will register a custom handler, an endpoint or whatever, that will bind the endpoint with your route to your content item. And this content item will have a liquid template. This way, you can intercept whenever someone does /blog /CPQ. It will call your content item, which will have a liquid template, which will do the query based on the current route.username, like you did. Okay, and then you can do the query and render whatever you want with that. So yeah, that's something we already designed. But and this way, you won't have to make an action, a controller action, because we can do that dynamically. That's super easy, and same perf and everything. It will just be a content item, a content routable item, routable content item with custom route parameters that you would write in the content item settings. Well, no, in the content item properties, you could say /blog /username in curly brace. Done.
Mm-hmm. So it's not an auto route, but it's like a dynamic route.
Dynamic route, yes. Content routable, or something like that.
Yeah, kind of a template route. So the first section is kind of fixed, and then you'll be able to define templates on it, which would just pass through to your liquid views.
And it's designed.
It will be a great PR. So I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Next
I think the original idea was also around being able to have a route like /the year and then the month, so that we could
for archives. Yeah,
so we could do it for archives.
Because we are talking about taxonomies and how to route taxonomies, and this is when Dean wrote the PR to have routable taxonomies and terms and everything. So you can list, and I assume that's what you are using for tags. When you go to the tags URL, it's actually using what did from that. And we extended the discussion to support, to see how we could have custom routes and custom route values inside your liquid templates. So that's the next evolution. And that would be super great. It's like Razor Pages, but dynamic and in liquid. It will be beautiful. And it's not that hard, but that opens so much possibilities without coding. So
yeah, I mean, it's basically an attribute route in liquid.
Yeah. I definitely be interested in looking into that, because this is another thing that it's nice that we can create custom code like this with controllers, but the less code we have to write, the better. All right, yeah, that's cool. So then you also understand what I'm doing here. This has to do with the liquid filter, so that I can access the route, which is currently not exposed, out of the box at least. And now I can access the username, which corresponds, of course, to this action parameter here.
And I see a security vulnerability here because you are using user entered data, because I can say /index/ whatever, and you will do a query on that. But fortunately, it should be encoded inside a JSON, so you should be safe.
Yeah, so.
But what you are identifying here is whether the user exists or not.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's a good point.
But
and that's another reason to use the other
something you can
model.
accept.
Yeah.
If you had an author content item, it will not be an issue because
exactly. Yeah.
you would not expose your usernames.
Yeah.
I do think we need that user picker though, because a lot of people are trying to tie up stuff on user properties that shouldn't be there.
Next week also, Sika said.
I didn't say next week, but it's a thing that I will look into. Let me see if I'm forgetting anything. So I showed a couple of things here. Didn't show the custom settings, but you are aware of that, of course. Search works. Yeah. So a couple of things I still want to add to this theme is comments functionality. I don't believe there's anyone working on comments.
No, it has been asked. It has been asked. There is some.
Yeah, and the answer was that use the discuss feature. I think Antoine created a module for that.
He did.
Okay. Yeah, I used it on a website last week, and it's actually really good.
Would you recommend it over providing an out-of-box comments module?
We will need out-of-the-box comments module at some point because some people want to own their data, and also in terms of cookies and everything, this adds lots of cookies. You might not want that, and sometimes you want custom features, custom stuff that is integrated in your design, in your app. So there is a request.
Yeah, and there was a limitation on what I could do with Discuss that we wanted to feature and it wasn't there, but it is a great little module.
All right, good.
There is an issue file already with some preliminary design on that, so please read it if you want to work on that. But after the two other ones we told you.
Right. So in this order. Like so. All right. Yeah, definitely, because that's one of the next things I wanted to work on. Comments. Forms, of course, is an existing module that I want to be able to theme users to use. You're welcome. And yeah, that's something I want to add to the theme. And by the way, if I didn't mention it already, this theme it's there on GitHub. I'm going to put it in its own repo so anyone can use it. And ideally, it wouldn't have any dependencies on custom modules like these two here. This is a Gravito module that I do intend to publish as well, so that people can use it. And this Medium theme relies on it, but I'm going to see if I can make it optional, which probably I can if I refactor the fact that authors are users. Then it's just becomes a content item, and then anything can happen.
And Jasmine also mentioned the issue with usernames is that you can change your username, so you will lose the reference. Or, well, that's also an issue with how we reference usernames, but that's a different issue we already find. And also if you want to delete the user account completely and not lose any historical data.
That's true. See? I didn't think of that. Yeah, I wouldn't want to lose the blog post if I deleted the owner of that of those blog posts. And another thing is tag cloud. That that I would like to have as an option for this theme.
Big topic also. It was a big topic in Orchard 1. There is a custom feature for that in Orchard 1 because it uses k-mean clustering. I don't remember the algorithm to have weighted tags clouds.
Mm. So is there anything on the roadmap for OrchardCore?
Nope, nothing. Do whatever you want with that, and it's related to taxonomy, so it can be used then to any taxonomy. That's great. That would be great to have a widget for that, or
exactly.
shape or whatever. I don't know how to.
Would it make sense to do it like that? Do it similar as it was in Orchard 1?
We need to talk about it because maybe you just want a query to list the things and that's it. Maybe you want to have a weighted solution, and then you can't do it with a query. You need to have some code. Maybe it's a shape, maybe it's a widget, maybe I don't know. Maybe it's just an API, maybe it's a liquid filter. We need to talk about all the things you could do with a tag cloud and how you want to use it. Like you don't have an archive page either for the blog post. Maybe that's something we could help on that. That will be related to the tag cloud also, because it's the same kind of little nifty solutions we want to provide, and yeah, we had that in Orchard 1. Archive widget, tag cloud widget, stuff like this.
Yeah, good.
Archive.
All right.
That's perfect. Awesome. Thank you very much, Sipke. Very good work. Very good demo.
Thank you. One more thing I do want to add, if we have a minute, is that I'm a big fan of Pulumi, and of course I created a Pulumi project that automatically instantiates an Azure App Service Plan and all these stuff, so that the Azure resources get created automatically. And I did it such that it pushes the secrets necessary for GitHub Actions to be able to access the Azure registry. Unfortunately, it's a little bit late, so I won't demo that here. But last time I demoed Pulumi, it didn't work completely, but now I got it to work from beginning to end. So maybe some other time, or if anyone is interested in knowing more about how that works, just let me know. I'm happy to show and tell.
He will steal your scripts and show it in his workshop.
Yeah, I would recommend it. Let me know if I can explain anything. It's also part of this repository here, so yeah, you can just take it.
Awesome, thank you.
All right.
Thank you. So I will share my screen to see what's in the OneNote. I think we'll skip the custom settings. Sipke talked about it. We might have time next week, eventually, maybe.
Yeah, one day.
Tomorrow I'm doing a meetup in French on the French podcast. It's 5 p.m. France time, Paris time. You see on Twitter. If you speak French, if you don't speak French, don't come. I'm not sure I will be able to speak French also. Technically, we'll see. It will be fun. RC2, I created the branch release/RC2, and I merged the PRs that were done for RC2. Feel free to target this branch when you want to ship something, when we want something to be shipped for release. If it's just code, target dev still. If it's preparation for the release, like documentation, notes, versions, and everything, target this one. And anything that is in dev still can go in release, RC2. And as soon as we are ready, in a few days, I assume we are waiting for Dean's PR that is supposed to be ready, we can ship RC2. I want to talk about this thing. Templates, just mentioning that templates. What did I want to say about templates? I'll talk about it next week. Templates, templates, content items. You made me think about it, Sipke, so please come next week about it. You will like it.
Are you there? Yeah.
This thing, so I had a surprise this morning in my Twitter feed that I had 10 notifications about exploit in Orchard exploit issue like security vulnerabilities. And this is actually the issue with the issue, not the vulnerability, that we've been working on with Dean, Antoine, and others. That has been reported by this person who reported it there. So it's advertised as, well, a vulnerability exploit and whatever, as persistent cross-site scripting. which is not wrong per se. I'm not disagreeing with the fact that there is a persistent cross-site scripting feature in Orchard. It's called Orchard. And I disagree with the fact it's a vulnerability. I disagree that a remote attacker can inject arbitrary web script or HTML via create or edit blog content. I disagree totally with that, and I will explain why. I disagree with the repro step. I suggest that anyone try the repro steps, and you will see you won't be able to do that because the repro steps don't explain that you have to be authenticated and you have to have the permissions for editing and publishing a content with a markdown part or an HTML part. So you need to be able to publish and to be authenticated to do that. And by the way, when you have that, you don't need to send post requests like this, like you are a hacker. You just go in the UI in the admin and you say edit content blog post and write your blog post and inject all the scripts you want inside that. You don't need to use post APIs. That just makes you clever some way. I don't know. That's weird. And I disagree that we vendor response. Okay, I thought I saw that we acknowledged the security issue. We created an issue to what? To implement a feature that will let us enable or disable sanitizing the specific parts where you can enter script tags because you are a blog post editor. And yes, a blog post editor is not a remote attacker. They are a user of the system with the permission to edit a blog post. So I explained that in this comment that I disagree with the thing. Okay, you need to be authenticated. It's not mentioned. You need to have permission. It's not mentioned. You don't need the post request. You can just edit the content. It's called WYSIWYG. Yes, you can enter scripts. I agree. It might be an issue in some sites, but we are building a feature so you can disable the permission or the feature if you want. So I never mentioned it was a security issue. That's why we won't patch the previous version. It will be a new feature available in the next release. So I was super sad with the way it was presented in this issue, because I don't think you can remove stuff or edit that stuff, and it's done. It's written on the web forever now. So that's kind of sad. There will be security issues. We'll find them and patch them, but this one is definitely not. It's ready to make them feel like they found something, where I don't think they already found some. Well, they found something, but not a vulnerability issue. So I'm kind of sad with that. So just mentioning, if you find that and you want to explain that it's not complete, you can't do that this way. You don't have also to do that this way. There is a much easier way to do that, but you might feel it's like more, I don't know. It's better to be seen as one who can do that than just go and click on the button and say publish my blog post. So that's kind of weird. So there is an issue. Go follow the issue and see how we are fixing that, how we are improving this feature. So just what I wanted to say about that, if you find it. And that's it. Questions, comments? I don't see anything here. All good. And I think I saw a comment here. Well, I see that. No, if I find it again, oh, I will come back next week. Okay, all good. If I forgot anything, please remind me. So next workshop will be on Saturday for those who registered already. Let's get a minute maybe from Larem or Dean about your feedback about the workshop from last Saturday. If you want to say anything. If it's
sure. Dean, you want me to say it or you want to say it?
Oh, you can say it. Please say it.
Okay. So the workshop went very well. There were 5 folks plus Antoine and myself. So there's 7. We got feedback from 3. All 3 are very happy that the workshop met its goals, and they're willing to recommend the workshop again to their colleagues. And the feedback was very good. There were some suggestions on how to prepare for the workshop, but overall they were very happy. And I think the first workshop is done, and thanks to Dean for helping us and spending time preparing for it. Now for the second workshop for this Saturday, it's all fully booked. In fact, there's an overflow. We had Anton had to reschedule another workshop in June because there were a lot of people who wanted to join the May workshop, but we had to make them join the June. So I think for this coming Saturday, we will have more than 10, I think. So far so good, and I hope we will continue with this. And I think one of these days I will talk to Gabor to prepare for the workshop number 3, which is coming in June. That's all from me. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for organizing that. And great that you are overbooked. That's better to be overbooked. That's a good feedback for the next ones. All good. Then see you on Thursday, 10 a.m. Pacific time. And see you next week. Otherwise, bye-bye. Thank you, Sipke, again.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you guys. Bye.